Very good afternoon, everybody. I've just started recording and our webinar is live now. Uh, and we have I have very interesting things to share with all of you. And all of you know that, in the last 4 days, I have been able to discuss with you things on such lines that mentally you all have opened up to a lot of things which were misconceptions or myths inside your brain have changed, right? And one of the things which I'd like to, mention to all of you is that the depth of understanding trading, the depth to understanding the seriousness behind it is very high. I mean, how many of you really feel that last 4 days have made some difference to you? And I'm going to take out some names which I see almost every day are coming. How many of you feel our last 4 days have made a difference to you? Raise your hands. And I will also notice those names who are coming every day. Now, these are the names, which I really feel are like, they are obviously going to feel a difference, and they are obviously the ones who are extremely serious about their trading, right? And if somebody new comes to me and then they say, okay, I like to trade, I want to trade, I want to make it a career, I'm aspiring to make it a full-time career, and they don't have certain category of things. सबसे पहले I would like to say everybody should have a journal. Okay, everybody should have a journal. One journal should be psychological and the other journal should be strategy based. Now when I'm talking to my students, I literally can talk and we can really pinpoint this is the type of trade this was. And ultimately there's a type of trades that suits your personality and your personality tends to drift away into that. Now when these type of trades exist in the market, with each one having their own entry exit criteria, level of aggressiveness, etc., the types make certain difference to what you're doing. I'll just show you a basic idea. Okay, I mean, this is something I've done just once recently and I don't want to really make this a habit, don't want to confine myself to how I present myself to people. My personal presentation towards people is very it's something to do with education. It is not something to do with showing off or anything at all. But I'll just show you that how one trades, okay? And one needs to have a clarity behind what is going on. Okay, make sure that happens. One second. So there are a few trades I took today. Okay. Now each one of these trades have a category. So I need to actually hide this number because I don't want to publicly. One second, please. Yeah. One minute. Okay, and just give me one moment. I really have to do this in order to ensure some precautions. Okay. I'm going to show you some of the trades I took in the logic, how these are played out. Okay. So I'm going to add a sticky note on the screen. Just 1 minute. Those who are waiting, this is first timers, hold on. But yeah. So I put a sticky note on the screen, and there we go. Okay. So as I move around on my screen, I'm not going to move my screen too much. because otherwise the sticky note will go away. Okay, so I don't want that. I'm going to show this just once. I'm going to show you the instruments I'm trading and why I'm trading those instruments. Okay, and this is something I hope everybody is looking at my screen. And as I said very clearly, there are ways in which I define that I'm trading this way. I'm defining, exactly defining. Are you getting my point? I'm defining the category of trade I'm taking, right? And as you can see, just make a note of this because I'm not going to come back to the screen again and again. On the 5th September options I'm using, number one, which is the recent coming week option. Now today is a Friday. Since I'm trading on the first half of the day, I'm aware of the theta decay. Theta decay which is going to happen on Saturday and Sunday. Some of it is priced in on the Friday second half. So first of all, on a Friday, if I'm trading the first half in the options, I'm okay trading the next week options. But I have to be aware of this theta decay. Therefore, I have certain category of moves which I like to pick up, which give me some sort of an immediate result. Okay. So one of the bigger trades you see, which has given me the major amount of money today, is Kotak Bank. And you know, nothing is so major also about it. It's slightly more than 50% of the total profits of the day. And Kotak Bank, what I saw on that chart, and I said, I really like to define my trades. I don't like to, you know, play around with money. People are scared of trading sometimes. One of the reasons why people are scared of trading is because they don't know what they're doing, right? So if they don't know what they're doing, they're likely to be scared of trading. So what happens is, what is it that I saw in Kotak Bank? And as I said, you know, it is a different ball game to trade, different ball game to, you know, come publicly and just say 1,000 things and want to express 1,000 things. I've been telling that since the last few days. If you have missed the past 3-4 videos of this 5-video series, go and check it out. Okay, go and check it out. So if there is I'm going to take up all the questions and statements soon. So this is Kotak Bank for you. This is the daily chart of Kotak Bank. And the daily chart shows me that there is a support area which is right underneath. And in the morning what happens is that support gets broken and there's a very strong pullback. So which trade I took today was a short trade which was a pullback or a throwback. And now I see a cluster of candles which are moving around here. From here, there is a big move which starts. In terms of intraday, it's a significant 20 rupee move. Okay, 20-25 rupee move that starts. So I get to capture this big move. And what do I use to do that? I use the 14-20 put to do that. The trend is still down, mind you. I use the 14-20 put to do that. The broader trend has given me a trigger and I'm using that trigger in intraday. So when I'm using a broader trend trigger in intraday, my reliability has increased because I'm looking for, you know, I'm looking at the bigger picture also. Okay, I'm looking at the bigger picture also. So somebody who asked me about the time frames of trading, raise your hands, all of you, if you understood this, right? There's a button there to raise your hands, all the newcomers. Thank you. So I'm using the bigger time frame as an edge, and if it gives me the profitability, it's good, right? And how do I trade in the smaller time frame? So market will offer us different things on different time frames. How will I trade the smaller time frame? Now what happened is during the day, as the markets fell, there were certain 15-minute and hourly patterns which were very visible on the chart. Now every aspect, now what I spoke right now is about pattern and support breakout, right? There was a pullback trade. So I have defined the trade. It suits my style. I know how to execute it. I enter it, I exit it, I time it, I scale in, scale out of it. Okay. The other is when there is a candlestick thrust. What do I mean by thrust? So you see the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours of candles are actually very sideways candles on hourly chart. From the first, second hour if I take, these candles are very sideways candles. Okay. So on the Nifty, when I see that this kind of sideways movement is happening, one of the good habits I tell all of you is don't get desperate for the morning move. Don't get desperate for the morning move. You will have all day to make the move, to make money, to understand how the market is moving. You will have all day for all that. Okay. So on the 15-minute chart, it looks like the morning market is flying up a little bit, takes a resistance, and as I said, the last one entire day it has been sideways. Now, of course, there are pre-established support areas which are here, which get broken. There are certain candlestick signals I get from here. Okay. And on the hourly chart also, I see that when this area is approached somewhere around 940 area, I need to be understanding that the heaviness of this candle as a part of the entire consolidation is now taking its place. Okay. Now that is when I play on the bearish side and I enter the trade and I exit it, making money out of it, of course. And it is not a big deal. The amounts, somebody can feel that these amounts are big, somebody can feel some amounts are bad. They're small, whatever it is, I don't care. Simply put, there are supposed to be conservative traders, there are supposed to be aggressive traders, and to whoever, whatever suits. On a fine day, it can make you money, it can lose you money, whatever it is. If somebody's profits are very, very big, losses are also big. Okay. Now, again, I'm not really the kind of person who comes and talks about profits and losses. I like to talk about the reason behind the trade. Okay. So once I get this candlestick thrust, this candle thrust out of the range, or thrust out of the range becomes my style. Now the reason is that I'm trading options the first half of the day, not in the second half of the day. And because I'm not trading intraday, I'm not trading positional. Maybe somebody who wants to trade positional. The reason I'm not trading positional is because right now I don't have a proper clarity of the bigger time frame. In the bigger time frame, I feel that the market could go sideways, or it's not really the kind of trades that give me the immediate movements. When I'm having bigger time frame trades, I like trades which get me in the money as fast as possible. If they get me in the money as fast as possible, I can easily hold on to them. Okay. Then I don't have any reason not to take leverage on them. So if I get that perfection, like in case of Kotak Bank, I took some decent quantity and the implied volatility of Kotak Bank options is far more. Okay. So if the Kotak Bank stock was something volatile, it had the bigger time frame aspect to it. So according to my normal, I took more than normal, basically I took more than normal leverage. Like normal as in small size, low risk. Okay. So when that happened, I see the puts swelling up as the market goes down. Now in case of Nifty, this is happening. So when I see the market has gone down and it is now, it's not really the biggest of the patterns, I feel that these important areas have come again. To be very, very precise, the breakout areas which started the movement over here, okay, the low of this area has come again. So I've got two energies flowing. One is the downward energy of the thrust and out of the range movement, and I've got the upward energy of the support given by this important interaction zone. Okay, I'm not even using any indicators right now. I'm keeping it very simple because a lot of new people are here. You guys, if you want like a full training of all advanced concepts and everything, you can come to my course. But right now I want to keep it simple. Okay. Now what happens is the two energies, and somewhat I am not really very comfortable holding on to a short position when that kind of a support is there, especially for intraday. So I just draw a line where I, possibly the zone around which I took my short position, the line would be somewhere here, right? And I will color this line red. And I'm also going to remove one of these lines, the 63 number line, I don't know, so that there's more clarity. And as I said, the consolidation breakout, the breakout zone, you can literally see how the support is now becoming resistance. Literally see, this support is being taken. So we have got the two energies coming beautifully together. I see that the breakout is happening here. I see the breakout on the downside is happening over here. I see a pullback has happened. So breakout has happened, a pullback has happened. Now we see more further falls. So if I was taking position, I probably would have held on to it, or something of that category. Actually, one of the reasons also is because I'm in the live session. I don't want to pay attention to trading. I want to pay attention to you and learning, right? So these areas are again taking resistances, while these areas earlier were supports. So you can see how the support has turned into a resistance right in front of us. And there was an existing support over here. So the same thing was following in Bank Nifty, which is why I went to the Bank Nifty calls, right? So Bank Nifty, let's explore. Yeah, similar thing happening over here in Bank Nifty. And I see a cluster of hammers, and I know that these cluster of hammers, etc., which was there on the 15-minute chart, that can be taken out like this. The broader trend is down, right? Okay, but within this, I got a good opportunity on to buy on a dip, and just open the 5-minute chart to show a good opportunity to buy on the dip, and held on to the trade and exited. So a small trade, not the biggest kind of money spinner also, and a small scalp you can say, which can make a few thousand rupees. And depending on the leverage, some people can scalp and make a few 10,000 rupees also. That's like personal thing. But again, the energy of two different zones coming together. Okay. While you must notice that while going short, I did not choose Bank Nifty. I choose Nifty. Because see, the number of convolutions are more, the number of times testing is more, the depth of the correction and the pullback is more, right? So there are certain reasons why I'm doing this. And also on the daily chart and the hourly chart, okay, hourly chart, there is not a very broad based consolidation. It's a small consolidation, 1-day consolidation. So a thrust of something like 40 points. Okay, this is 940. This is like a 874. 940 to 874 is 70 points. Out of 70 points, if I could capture almost say even 55 points, it's still worth the intraday trade. Now, along with this, when I saw the bullishness is coming from here, so because the broader trend is down, I don't expect more than a thrust. I keep my expectations conservative according to what I see. Why? Because this is a fresh breakout, and this is like a old friend over here saying, hi, let's take some support. That sort of a scenario. So I know the energy coming from here is at the moment not very strong. If it has to be so strong that we actually fly up again, then the market needs to consolidate and then probably do that, something like that. Maybe that could be one scenario. So the reason for me to show all this to you is to tell you that when I'm trading, those trades which are working out, there are times I have stop losses also, there's no doubt about it. Everybody in the world has those times. But when I'm approaching the market, okay, when I'm approaching the market, the approach needs to be methodical. I need to know what I'm doing, why I'm doing, okay. Now I'll take some questions and statements which have come. So, okay, Mr. Sudhir ji saying, I have made 11,500 via SBI in BOB sorting and BOB. Great, great. So I didn't get the word sorting over here in the sense sorting what? Okay, good if you made that. So let's just check out how the SBI and Bank of Baroda chart, So Mr. Sudhir ji, I think we are not even 50% into the course yet. Sudhir ji is in the August batch. We are not even in the 50% of the course here, and he's even before the course he had trading experience and the wisdom. I remember talking to him before he joined the course. A very, very poised person, poignant mindset. So there's a pullback trade over here. Some parameters you must have seen, probably Bollinger and SBI. SBI was, SBI at current levels yesterday. It was something worth looking at from a short side. That's awesome, Sudhirji. So you got some major movers. Really nice. Good. So, all of you in the first session or so, somebody was talking about how the global market should correlate with the Indian markets, etc. I must say, yesterday we saw Dow, and we saw like the Dow was not even performing. The Dow was happening, okay? And this is why I also don't appreciate that, don't look at the SGX too much, because SGX will get you biased. Tomorrow there'll be a new day, something new will happen. At 8, 9, 11 in the night it's going on. It can give you the tendency of that getting biased. I'm just going to open the Dow chart. So don't look at SGX all the time or rely on it, okay? Make sure you have a basis of doing what you're doing so strong that you don't have to look at the SGX. Like when I read the charts in the night, preparing for the next day morning, etc. Then I'm like very clear that I need to see it from this perspective or that perspective. Now on the Dow, we came and to the upper end of the range and made a new high yesterday. Breakout move did not happen. Now it could happen very soon, but people were expecting that Indian market should also react in the same way. If you even look at, say, FTSE was also going through a similar kind of a bullishness, like coming in the upper end of the range. So when the world markets all turned bullish, even right now it is bullish in the last 1 hour, when the world market all turned bullish, you see what has happened. The Indian markets have not really reacted in the same manner. So you need to take these things with a pinch of salt. In the morning we did see some bullishness, but it all just got shaved off. Okay. So you need to take these things with a pinch of salt and understand that the correlation exists in a broader way, and many times it doesn't exist, and day to day you don't have a reliable way of looking at it. Can't rely on it completely. Are you getting my point? Okay. I'm going to take a next question now. Okay. Well, 3 questions I have. Okay. Thing is, Mr. Karunakar ji is asking, Telegram, those calls were given by me or given by someone else. Okay, yeah. So in Telegram, yes, those calls generally what happens, 90% of the calls I'm only giving. Sometimes my team gives, but generally I only give. And yes, I gave those calls. And I made a mistake with Tech Mahindra. And I have to accept I made a mistake because I did make a mistake. And this tends to happen when you are, the psychological aspects of Telegram are as cruciating, in fact more cruciating than trading my own money. So what happened is the breakout move did not happen. But once I have typed the message and clicked the button, then it's gone. So that is what happened with Tech Mahindra overall. Yesterday only we were discussing that we should move above these levels and all. We should have some significant this thing. It's just as it was happening, in order to make sure the timing was right, I typed and sent and it did not work out. It's completely, it's something unavoidable. And as far as Voltas is concerned, Voltas, yes, I feel it's a strong trend and still it has got some steam to go possibly. But then you have to understand the nature of certain caps, stocks like mid caps have different liquidity. Certain large caps have different liquidity, you know, etc., etc. So the way they move, the way they unfold, you have to take a note of that. Okay. And there are actually many stocks generally on my radar. So what happens is many times it's not possible to, you know, express it like that on Telegram. And that is where actually a little bit of a problem happens. That gap is there. So that small gap will be there, and that is why I say that even if it is a paid call or if it is a free call, these gaps are always there between the analyst and the person who is looking at those calls, no matter who it is. In fact, there's so many Telegram channels. I'll be very honest over here because, you know, I just want to be honest. There's nothing wrong with going wrong in one occasion, having a bad call, having a stop loss hit. There's nothing wrong with it. The most important thing is that it has become sort of a stimulative, I would like to call it a stimulating app. You know, the call is given, the stock moves up by 1 rupee, and then, oh yeah, emoticon, 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 boom, boom, boom. Let's see, it's gone up. We gave it at this price, blah, blah, blah. All that is happening. And that 1 rupee probably is not even considering for your slippage and your brokerage. In fact, by the time you took the trade, that one rupee is gone, right? So it becomes sort of like that scenario, right? Okay, I'm seeing more new faces join. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to all of you. I also recognize some new names. Good. Okay, so this is what, you know, when it comes to Telegram, these gaps will be there. And that is why I say that, okay, you do learn. How many of you really believe that it becomes a very stimulating app, stimulating to trade? Can you raise your hands? If you really think it's becomes stimulative in nature, right? And this is, the stimulation is not good for you. Okay. And what people do is when they have a good day, this is the problem most people face, because they have a good day, they'll go out with their friends and family, or family, whatever, you know, friends or family, have a good time because they make money in the market, they feel happy. And probably when they talk to their friends about trading, they'll talk all good stuff. This is where they need to stop. When you're making money off trading, you don't need to take it in a very high-flying fashion. Take it as a normal thing. It's a normal everyday thing. It's your work you're doing, and you're making money in your work. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing too extraordinary about it either. Right? So first of all, understand this. And the second is understand what the aspects are of, you know, of trading on your own, so that the impulses don't get into you. The impulses don't get into you. Getting my point? So the impulses should not get into you. Right. So okay, I have somebody asking what is your view on Yes Bank. Yes Bank, okay. See again, maybe you are holding Yes Bank because, you know, you just mentioned like that. Or that there have been a lot of short position taking opportunities in Yes Bank. A lot of opportunities. Then again, we see the same principle happening on the hourly chart. We just now saw on the 15-minute chart. We also saw it on Kotak Bank on the daily plus hourly chart. This is again Yes Bank. So support areas were broken. Support areas were broken. About 4 or 5 students I remember messaged me about taking this trade or things like that. This support area was broken. And this by Friday it came back over here. And the next entire week it went down. So it was a very big capturable move. Now we are talking about a breakout from the level of 80 and something coming down right now towards 56. So it's a huge thing, right? And as we are talking, Nifty has given a pullback. It has shown us that I am not ready to go down as yet. These support areas are important. Did I not tell you this, that because the daily chart aspect is not there, I'm not convinced that further downside can come that easily. I'm not saying it still can't come, it still can go down. But the point is that every time you look at a support resistance area, it's always a zone. It is not a level. It is not always a zone. Okay. And the thrust which I was talking about, the thrust which came once is now taken a dip and come about again. Now how it will go in the short term today, difficult to say until we see more tightening in the pattern. We need to see more tightening. What happens is when the market has moved so much in one day, and it tends to absorb a lot of time later. So this is a correction. See, this move happened in one day. Okay. If I consider these 2 days, the entire move has happened in almost 2 days, right? And how many days do we see the correction? 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day. So the market has moved with this kind of rocket magnitude. Then please understand that this movement can be a little soft, can be a little time taking, because price needs to not just correct in the price, it also needs to correct in time. There is so much to learn in just these few moves, and probably had I not taken this live session and spoken in so much details with so much on one chart, I wouldn't have realized. There's so much to learn. Every nook, every cranny, every second, there's something happening which is of our interest. And as a chart reader, as an analyst, you have to read it in the right way. Let's see how we see the same thing happening or similar thing happening in Bank Nifty. Yes, we do. Again, understand that this thrust forming a basing and then going like that. Okay. Yes, we could say that, but it is preemptive to say that, Mr. Karunakar. When you talk about inverse head and shoulder pattern, okay, then you need the right shoulder to be developed before you can say anything. So what I can say is that yes, 11,155, 160, 175, this zone is a resistance zone. And what happens is when we see this as a resistance zone, we also, the head and shoulder, proper head and shoulder would also want to come and touch somewhere near here. Okay. So fine, we could say these things are there present. This come till this zone. We need a development of the right shoulder to happen and a proper breakout. Now, what tends to happen is when people see the patterns which are not yet there, okay, when they see the pattern which are not there yet there, the problem is that the market will do completely something else. If not even be in the pathway, it might just move like this and then move like this and then move or then move down, whatever it can do. And you will miss out on those things if you hold too much bias. So I would say until this breakout happens, don't think too much about it, or until you don't see major developments over here to go long. Because I've had bought the right shoulder. Now buying the right shoulder is another strategy. Buying the right shoulder, selling the right shoulder. Again, as I said, we want to name everything. That's what I do with my students. And the most successful students, they name everything. Hi Niketji, how are you? So when we name it, there needs to be a basis inside this that, okay, if I want to buy the right shoulder, there needs to be something over here to make me interested in buying over here. Because then the candles are telling me, yes, boss, I'm taking the support over here, right? Taking the support over here. Like for example, this piercing pattern was there in the hourly chart. So this piercing pattern is telling me that, yes, I'm taking the support over here somewhat, right? Of that sort of thing. So make sure you have a clarity upon those things. And the rest will be taken care of. The rest is only a matter of time and some practice. If you have any questions, please ask. If you have any questions, please ask. No questions? Okay. So, okay, as we go ahead, so yes, this breakout needs to be considered. This needs to be considered about 940, 950, and probably we could see some sort of a reversal happen here. This is there. As I said, I was not so convinced about the downside to be to that great extent. To be to that great extent, I was not so convinced about the downside. And learning to scale in and scale out of trades. That is one of the major things. And when trends happen, they tend to really stick together, right? So when those trends are sticking together, like say for example, I'm looking at the chart of Bank Nifty right now. So when this trend has emerged, okay, there is a tendency to stick. How much will it stick? It depends on the time frame I'm trading. So I have to keep that balance between the time frame I'm trading and my understanding of how this trend would stick together. If the balance is right, then my trading and entry exit is right. Now, if the balance is wrong, then there is a problem. Most people don't focus on this balance, and either they expect too much out of a trade or they get out of a trade very, very soon. Both of these things should not be done. Either expecting too much out of a trade or getting out of a trade very, very soon. Both of these things should not be done. So once you understand these subtleties, okay, there's always a possibility for you to make easy money, because the market offers you that. Market offers anybody who is reading the chart in the right manner, the market is offering a complete formula to make money. Complete formula. So here we go, we are understanding, we are seeing this happen right in front of us. All of the thrust, all of the scenario, right now only we have done. Okay. So those who are scalpers, how many of you over here like scalping or are scalpers? Raise your hands please. How many of you like to scalp? How many of you don't know what scalping means? Okay. So those who are scalpers and they want to be like good scalpers. Okay. One of the criticism of scalping is that it is not a very, it's not a model of trading where you can leverage a lot. Right. Okay. Scalping means taking in, getting out of short-term profits. Okay. Getting in, getting out in the short term very, very quickly. So suppose you are trading Bank Nifty, say you're trading option or whatever, you buy an option in 90 rupees, you get it out at 100, 105 as something like that. Okay. So short term profits. Okay. So those who are scalpers must understand the scenario also, that money is out there to be made. But then even in scalping there needs to be patience. Even in scalping there needs to be way of going about things. And scalpers are supposed to be making, the ones who make good money, they can make in probably lakhs in a day also sometimes. It's just that how you do it, how you place yourself. And there's no good, no bad. It's all about you. It's all about, you're the only competition. Okay. You can never justify yourself with how much money you make. If I make 50 times the money of what I'm making, I still won't be able to justify, I want more. So don't look at the money, look at the method. If you know the method, you know exactly what to do and when to do it. Money is just a function of you making yourself available to the market. As I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and since we're talking very general today, understand that all of you who have had some experience in the market have got some money-based ideas. And depending on how these experiences have been, these ideas have a tendency to shift and mold and become patternized. How many of you believe that if you have taken losses in the market, it has, scratched your ideas about money, made you feel bad about money? How many of you feel that a general good feeling about money ends you into taking some really good trades or ends you into taking up some really interesting opportunities in the market, opportunities in other businesses possibly? How many of you believe that? A lot of you, right? So this is how it happens. And when you believe it in the right way, things tend to become for you exactly like that. I was right now only telling you, and just to share with all of you, while I was talking and I was taking these, I did take a trade again on the Bank Nifty calls, and as I was saying, I held on to it, getting 100 points while I was talking to all of you, whatever points it was, 70, 80 points, whatever it is, on the options, I don't know how it will be. Now they have exited, I place, whenever I take a trade, I like to place an exit order with it, at least for half the positions. The rest half, I can follow the trend. Many people complain I feel one of the most nonsense complaints I get is, sir, I had bought, I exited, then it went higher. Dude, you exited because it had to go higher. Your orders were filled because it had to go higher. Otherwise, your order wouldn't have been filled. Are you getting my point? What I'm trying to say? Otherwise, your order would not have been filled. So, nothing to be, nothing to be too sad about something that, okay, I made the money, I wish I could have got more. That will always be there. That will always be there. The first day I came, for the live session with all of you, this was the thing. Had I been a little more active in the markets, I know I could have punched and minted a lot of money. But no, I have to do some other things. I have my duties. It's fine. That is also important. I have decided to do it. Suppose someday you have to go with your family to some important family function. Okay, so you have decided to do it. So these kind of small things like regret, etc., really don't need to worry. Okay, how the red hammer in the bottom becomes bullish in nature. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you that hammer, regardless of the color, hammer is one pattern where you do not do color discrimination. Okay, red or not red, it's completely fine. Like this one is a green hammer over here. Okay, in certain other cases, I will show you some red hammers which have worked out very beautifully. You know, there are many cases like that, especially the long term, these bottoms. These are hammers which are red in color and they work out beautifully. No doubt about it. Yeah. What else? Britannia. Okay. So one more thing, since you spoken about Britannia, the consumer sector, the consumer goods sector, the FMCG sector, etc. Okay, the FMCG is, where's Britannia? Had been very rocketing since yesterday, and the red hammer in this, uh, which is on the weekly chart, has worked out beautifully in Britannia. Yeah, it has. This is the daily chart. There's a red hammer on this chart as well. So absolutely, you're right. On the weekly is there also, on the daily also. Absolutely correct. Do I trade all my calls? Many times I do, many times I don't. Uh, I mean, of course, the basis of calls and trading both are technical analysis, but depending on my other positions, etc., those reasons are there. Plus, the style of the trade should also fit my comfort. Or maybe sometimes in mount trading, I tend to take the freedom of making decisions, but in Telegram, flexible decisions. But in Telegram, it's not always possible to do that because you can't really keep flipping around your view on Telegram like that. This is again, yeah, the analysts who come on television also face the same problem. You are not supposed to actually have someone to give you a view on every moment basis because you're not utilizing the most of his talent. The other person is talented, the other person has got the technical skill and knowledge, fine. Make the most of those things. Don't make it don't make it a run of the mill thing. I personally feel that. Well, suppose times when I don't have a view, it's extremely difficult to express that view because there is no view, right? So that is where people get a little sad about कि अरे क्या बोल रहा है, इसका तो कोई व्यू ही नहीं है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं करने का. आपको ये समझना है कि हमारा जो व्यू है वो व्यू इस पे डिपेंड करता है कि हम क्या देख रहे हैं चार्ट पे, और वो एक एवर चेंजिंग एनवायरनमेंट है, वो एक रन ऑफ द मिल चीज नहीं है. तो इसको समझना बहुत जरूरी है. And once you've understood it, most of your job is done. How many types of technical analysis courses do you have? Intraday position. So, Paragji, I have got one course. It is a 15 session course. Whatever you require intraday, you require positional, you require whatever, all those are based on the same principle. I just showed you certain concepts that work on the daily chart as well as the same things that those things are only working on the hourly chart also. Okay. So when you have concepts which are fractal in nature, that means regardless of the time frame, they have a certain way of working. In those cases, you will go ahead and you will understand. So in that one course, I keep things full-fledged. It's very detailed. And other than that, there are certain mini courses I do few times a year. Like there's one on options, one is trading psychology, etc. So that I do only a few times in the year. I don't do them on a regular basis. The flagship course, which is the full 15 session course, that is happening all the time, all the year around. Thank you so much. Yeah. No, I don't really believe that you need anything else. If you want to learn, see, there's never, I can't really point a finger. I always encourage students to learn from reading books, this, that. From that point of view, I always encourage people to learn as much as possible. In that process, if they want to learn from 3 teachers also, it's their call. But as far as the holistic nature is concerned, you don't really need anything, after you've done this course. It's holistic in nature. The approach is holistic. Of course, I don't believe. So somebody is asking, do I give a course only on candlesticks? I'm just saying to them that be it candlesticks, be it any other topic, one topic is not enough for you to consistently trade. You have to mix those topics up. Okay. Tell me something about super trend. Okay. Okay. So say for example, he wants to know about super trend. Chalo, let's talk about super trend. Now, as I said, there's so many indicators which are there, so many. Okay. When I'm talking to you all on live sessions, I take off the indicators, I take a clean chart and I start. Okay. So you said super trend, right? Super trend will be somewhere here. Sounds interesting, looks very, sort of very attractive, and generally it is said that whichever direction, the market is moving, the market moves above that super trend, it is moving in that direction, etc. This is how generally the terminology goes. Okay. Now, how far is it true? How far is super trend actually working out? Let's take the 15-minute chart as you expected, 15-minute chart. So what do you do when you have a short position over here? This is fine. You exit the short position and you flip the to the long position. But that you do only when it goes above this. So when you have a trend following indicator, the biggest problem with the trend following indicator is subsequently you will make money in the big trends, okay? No doubt. But when places like this you will get whipsawed, or when you have to convert, okay, when you have to convert the direction, then it is a problem because you miss this part of a move. And this is a whole 300, 400 points move, okay? So you miss this part, number one. So suppose you go long again over here. What happens when the price comes down below super trend over here? You're gone. You're taken out of the trade, okay? Then when it comes above this is only over here. So you were, stopped out over here, and then probably you were even short because you had to, as price was below this, you had to go short. So the trend following indicators by themselves give you, this is a whipsaw you got, this is a whipsaw you got, over here a small whipsaw is there, okay? So you can't just dance around above and below a line, buying and selling, buying and selling. That way super trend is not really that attractive. What I suggest is when you mix multiple indicators, for example, then it becomes, holistic. कि चलो ठीक है, super trend I'll use for trend following, but my entry is based on some other indicator, maybe like a triple crossover or double crossover of moving average. Okay, so you need to have those kind of clarity in the head. about what you're doing. And I think if you've done that, pretty much your job is done. No, super trend is not included in the course. So what I teach is I teach about there are three indicators I teach in the course where I focus and give a lot of time on RSI, Bollinger Band, and the moving averages. So each one of these represents something different about the chart. So Bollinger Band, for example, represents about volatility. The moving averages represent about the trend. They are a trend indicator, just like super trend is. Okay? And so on. So there are different aspects to all of these. And once you understand that these different aspects, how they hold, okay, it becomes easier for you to go and analyze, and you can mix up, and you can create your queries, and you can create your alert systems. Like yesterday I was telling, you can create your alerts. There's nothing wrong with doing that. You can use technology in your favor. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Okay. Okay, how to make alert? First you intimately understand the indicator in use, and then you make the alerts. Right now, if you just jump into making an alert, you'll probably not understand anything. First understand the indicator in use, then understand the mechanism it follows, and then you move on to understanding, okay, this is working out in such a manner, this is showing me these things in such a manner. Then it will make some sense to you. Just blindly don't do it. It can be dangerous. Very dangerous, in fact. It can. Nothing needs to be done blindly in order for you to make money. It's just that most people actually initially when they come to the market, they come with the right mindset. But then later that mindset does not last. And therefore the only thing that lasts is the ignorance is bliss factor. When they are completely relying on somebody else's trade or somebody else's idea, where they ignore what is happening in the short term in the market, the corrections, this, that. That is where they feel they make money on those scenarios, which is not true. Which is not true at all. You make money on the basis of your convictions and your ideas is completely possible. Thank you. How do I expect, okay, as the development is happening now, how do I expect the market? Well, in case of looking at the, again, if you're asking me about this, I don't want to talk about a breakout of this when we are over here, when we are 200 points lower. But yes, I can definitely talk about if the daily chart closing is very, very good, then we can see a follow through. And if that follow through means that we break out of this zone, yes, it is possible, but it doesn't have to be today. Maybe at least it can take out yesterday's high. Even that will be a potential target for me. It's a step-by-step thing, depending on your risk to reward. See, every time you can't know what your risk to reward is. If I take a potential trade with a potential risk to reward of 1:10, say for example, when Nifty has broken 940 region, this red line which you see, if I take a long position over there, okay, and my stop loss is say 10 points, then my risk reward already is 1:4. But is that 1:4 giving me 10 points and 40 points, or that 1:4 giving me 100 points and 400 points? That also makes a difference, right? So if you're taking up a trade with a certain risk to reward, which is in your favor, know which category of setup it is. Otherwise the risk to reward doesn't matter. So most people say, चलो मैं ये खरीद लेता हूँ, ये मेरा risk है और मैं इतने पे बेचूंगा, ये मैं बेच लेता हूँ and vice versa. But until you know your setup, how can you calculate the risk and reward? You tell me. Okay, let's check out Voltas. So what I like to do again is say, look at the breadth. Look for the breadth. I'm going to go through all the banking stocks. Then I'm going to go through the Nifty 50 stocks with you. See if those stocks are showing me anywhere or something interesting happening. Okay. So there were a few stocks like L&T, Reliance. I was there's certain heavyweights. I want to look at how the market is behaving with those heavyweights. One of the stocks I like is also Intratel. Okay. So there's a minor up move in Voltas. Nothing very major. Okay, but yeah, for the day it's a minor approve. The trend still continues. Now I'm going to go to the banks first. Let me go to the banks first. So I like to do my afternoon homework like this. It's fun to do it. It's completely fun to do it. I like to go through what is happening across which particular charts, how these are behaving. Is there any major development which shows me a follow through for the next day? If yes, then I would like to see, okay, uh, in a detailed way. Right? Okay, what is master candle according to you, Mr. Parag? What is master candle you are saying? Can I post? Okay, so I'll just clarify to you, Mr. Parag, not to worry. Yeah, those are multi-candlestick patterns. You can put any name you like. That's completely up to you. You can use multi-candlestick patterns, not an issue. If you call that master candle. So there are single candlestick patterns, there are double candlestick patterns, etc. There are what I call cluster of candles, and every trainer, then every book has a different, every author has a different name given to these things. Okay, so you can use whichever you like. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, minimum 4 candles. Okay, yeah, there can be, see, everybody has his own criteria. I'll show you certain moves where only one candle is there. Say for example that Britannia, you only said there was only one candle, but the move is so big, right? So you can just go to, like, since you have asked, go to technicallysorted.com. I'm just showing you the website right now over here, so that all your doubts get cleared right away, and this goes for all of you. Okay, this is the home page, technicallysorted.com, right? Uh, you see this handsome young man over here? This is me, right? So this is the course. So if you go to the course and you'll find the course details. Then you can see the recent videos. You can see the testimonials of our past students. And each one of this you can find more by clicking read more. So if I click read more on this, or I go to courses offered from here, then I will get to know about the details of the course. And in that course, what is happening in every little session, that is particularly important. So this is session 1. What I do inside session 1, session 2, session 3, up to all the 15 sessions. It's all there in details. Okay. So you can contact my team. You can contact my team on WhatsApp. You can get the details of how to pay, etc. That's completely up to you. But definitely, if you want to join, know what you're paying for, get the details, have a good look through, go to some of my past YouTube videos, make your informed decisions. Trading is, in the end, what? It is decision making. And if you've understood decisions and how to decide what to buy, what to sell in the most smartest manner, you are the smartest and the fittest and the person who will survive in this jungle of the markets. Okay. So keep that in mind. Am I clear to you, Mr. Parag? Right. Thank you. Okay. So I like to go through, like when I'm looking at different stocks. Okay, since I was taking up the banks first, how these banks are behaving. Is there on the daily chart enough follow through or any evidence which is showing me so much bullishness that tomorrow Bank Nifty will go higher? No. So when I'm looking at the Nifty 50 stocks or the FNO scripts, let's take Nifty 50 just for a broader understanding, so we don't have to go through 168 stocks. Yeah. So is there enough bullishness across the market? Is there enough number of stocks adding to the breadth? Or is this one, two stocks doing very, very well? Is this so significant that I see that yes, the market can also follow through next day bullishness? Or which are the spaces which are very, very strong? Like if HDFC Bank is very, very strong, yes, HDFC Bank looks extremely very, very strong. Yeah. From the short-term perspective. Let's keep looking for that kind of breadth and category of things to happen. Hindustan Unilever, after a correction, is doing, as I said, even Colgate was doing so well yesterday, that the extension of this move has happened today. Right? Look at the volumes. Look at the volumes with which it's picked. One of our students has picked up this trade. Looks very interesting. Right? So before you jump into making conclusion about if there is a reversal today or not, even if there is, even if there is not, we are looking for bullishness or we are looking for clear bearishness. Either of the two. And whatever of the two is here, that you need to look for. That's it. You need to be very, very clear about these things. Either looking for bullishness or you're looking for bearishness. Now there's a follow through, there's a reversal or what it is, that you have to figure out. That you have to give time. Right? Sun Pharma is something I was looking from yesterday. Yesterday I mentioned about Sun Pharma. And I said that we will look at into this gap zone which is created. And after this gap zone, the price has sustained above this gap. I'm going to remove the super trend because it is making me super irritated. It's not something, it's disturbing my, this thing. Look at the range breakout on Sun Pharma. This is something which is there on my radar since yesterday. Look at how the clarity is picking up. Beautiful, just beautiful. And see it is coherent with the daily chart also. When you see this in 2 time frames, your job is done. How did Karnataka election follow the level of markets? Okay, yeah. So I will just clarify that to you. We'll just scroll through, some more charts. Tech Mahindra, again, the level is still quite significant. Wait for some more development. Okay, fine. I'll take it up. No problem. No, this is what that was not the trade trigger had not also come yet. I explained this right now. But I did it. That was a mistake. That is what happens when you have to post things, because the moment I post, if it runs up, then I get personal messages like it's already gone and all that. So I made a mistake there. My bad. I should have waited for 1 or 2 rupees more breakout candle to happen. Plus it was the expiry day. Things didn't work out. So Karnataka election, this day was the day. Absolutely, Mr. Parag. I have also got this day marked because that's the same line that comes through. Okay. And over here, there was a shooting star pattern. So I remember this day, and the market strongly fell after rising. Strongly fell after rising. That day, the first half of the day I traded. Second half, I did not touch the market. After the first 1 or 2 hours, I did not even see the market. The up move I traded. Down move I traded only after the next day. So what happens in these news days and all this change of direction which can happen, and this, as I said, become a very strong interaction zone which is worked out over here as a resistance. Later a cup and handle breakout happened, the throwback happened over here. Later the market, when it sort of rested while it was falling away, this is a mayhem day. I have made a video about this day. You can check out. It's during the time this day was. Around this day the video had released. This mayhem. Okay. So this day, what are the features of technical analysis this day? Okay. And how the market has rested enough before crossing this. And once this level is crossed, so this level is actually very important. Later again, Thank you, Mr. Parag, for bringing up this. This level is very important, and although over here we have been moving around this level quite a bit, around this level today also we can say there's some significance is there. Yeah. We do not have to preempt that if this level, or for somebody else who's asking about a reversal, if that is going to happen today, we do not have to preempt. We have to enter when it is going up. We have to go short when it is going down. That's pretty much all. Trade when that movement is happening. No need of preempting, no need of thinking too much about these things. And okay, fine. One second. So I don't know if I think I've not switched on the intraday options today. Okay, I have switched on, just hang on. I'll show you options, not an option, not a problem. So somebody over here is trading the 10,900 call. Let's look at is it 5th September? So you want to know the delta. So the near expiry calls I'm taking on the money call would be, let me put all. So 10,900 call would be this one for the 5th of September. See, the delta of this call is around 0.6426. So if you're buying 2 lots, your leverage is almost more than one future, 1.3 times of the future exposure you have. This is how it is behaving in intraday. So the reason, see, the point is when people look at calls, they always talk multi-bagger, this, that. The point is you should not do that. Understand you're buying and selling delta. And delta increases an increasing rate, and that rate is called gamma, right? So understanding that is much better. Now if I put the Nifty chart side by side as I did that day, then probably you can understand the relationship. One second, somebody is asking. That's because of implied volatility. Now I'll show you that. This is the 5-minute chart, and this is the 5-minute chart of Nifty. Okay. You see the correlation between the two. See how this is moving, how that is moving. This is exact correlation between the two. And when you understand what really delta means and how these things happen, your clarity actually becomes 2 times. It keeps changing. The fluctuation will be there, but you have to understand what you're here for. It's a strong trend, no doubt, and therefore even the option will show its own way of moving. So keep those little things in mind. That will be important. Okay. So is there any other question, or we come towards the end of the session now? I think everybody's asked the kind of questions they wanted to. Chart reading is also about practice, how to become perfect like you. In chart reading, how much practice daily requires scanning after your course? Well, when you ask a teacher how much homework should I do, then obviously he'll say the more the better. I do say the more the better it is. And I also tell to all my students there's nothing which I do that anybody else can't do. It's just that I spend so much time, and I have spent years, and every day I've spent for years on practice. So if you're doing practice on regular basis, Paragji, nothing wrong with it. As along the course and even after that, give it a few hours every day, or at least few hours every alternate day. When I say few, because क्या होता है, 1 घंटे बैठ के there's nothing worthwhile one generally takes out. Half the time just goes in setting up things. Okay. So sit for 2 hours, give it time, understand what you're here for. हो जाएगा. ठीक है. उतना उसको, that is not the major thing. You, whatever you need to do, if you are ready to do to make money in the markets, that's it. If you're ready to do whatever it takes, then you don't need to worry. I'll tell you what to do. Just be ready to do whatever it takes. Right? Alright guys. Thank you so much for being a part of a 5-day session. Those who are watching this on YouTube, etc. Thank you so much for viewing it, and make sure that whatever you do is made up of conscious decision making. Make sure whatever you do has a clarity behind it. Don't play around with your money in a way which is not very uh, very healthy, or which is not based on certain informed decisions. Okay, if you do things the right way, the market will ultimately it will empower you with the right kind of profits. There is no doubt about that. If you do things in a funny business way, if you do things in a way which is not healthy, then the opposite of it will happen. Try to see these things as a cause and effect relationship. These are not luck based. These are proper cause and effect relationships. So know this relationship. How you act, that way the market will react with you. And if you act lousily, lazily, not pay attention to things, then it will react likewise. So to do the better, get the better, the important things is that yes, you need to focus. Yes, you need to look forward to working hard. Yes, you need to really develop yourself, be serious about developing yourself as a trader. And if that seriousness is coming from within you, your job is done. You don't need to worry. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Karunakar. Thank you, Nitinji. And thank you everybody else, whoever is a part of this, coming here consistently every day. And how do you guys really think? I'm asking this openly, even though it will be on YouTube, I know, eventually, but I'm asking this openly. How do you think that I should be doing this very often? Like as if it should be like a TV channel almost on YouTube. Thank you, Mr. Sudhirji. How do you think like that? A lot of you think? Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to do more of this. But more than that, the structured level of learning is in the course. If you want to join the course, it's a 5-day program. So it's a 15 session program. And in these 15 sessions, you get an opportunity to change your destiny with the markets. Have fun. Take care. It is like a spirituality of market. Thank you, Mr. Sachin. Sachin ji is enjoying the course right now in the previous batch. So new batch is starting mid-September. Please contact my team if you need to. And thank you all. The batch will be in English. I keep alternating between Hindi and English batches. The coming batch will be in English. Take care. Goodbye. Have fun and enjoy. Have fun everyone. Thank you very much.